Last week, I talked about SEPTA's regional rail plans, finally, but they're overhauling everything now. And most exciting thing is with their new Metro project. First off, some of the ideas are over 100 years old, like the Roosevelt Boulevard Subway, which is not in the original concept for SEPTA Metro. But even just phase 1 would serve over 100,000 people, which is mind-blowing. And well, the right-of-way was always planned to have some sort of mass transit connection. Even KOP Rail, that was in the last version of Schuylkill Valley Metro from the early 2000s. And obviously in that, it's still called Route 100, because 101, 102, and obviously the 401, 103, 104, 105, 106, I believe. I think all those were operated by the red arrow lines. Pink color shown in a map before Jefferson existed. 100, 101, 102 are pink, and they're going back to that for the Delaware lines in color, which is interesting. But the M kind of makes sense now. You know, it's kind of weird now that only one line goes to Norristown, which is an N. But yeah, M, I guess, makes more sense because both are in Montgomery County, and having 2 branches in Montgomery, 2 in Delco. Again, I kind of telling at the end of the previous episode, where basically you either use the Kenwood line as sort of like the Schuylkill Valley Metro idea, increase service, or you basically lose it. And then I had the idea you could just make it a branch off the Route 15, which is now its own little separate thing called the G line. The original G line, as is, we continue on the original loop as it does, just going from 63rd Street Loop all the way up to Mount Richmond Loop, where the G2 would go Kenwood line, breaking out, go to 52nd Street, a little ways away from the T1, and the new regional rail station will be kind of transfer between people on the Paley Third line to get to the zoo, because that's also where the 2 lines would connect now, with stops in Fairmount Park and Belmont between 52nd and the zoo. Got a lot of stops, like I said, Poplar, 22nd, College Avenue, Ridge Avenue, Girard, 8th Street, 4th Street, and then renamed the Market-Frankford, which is now called the L1 to Fishtown. So it's probably are a bit more even, the 2 branches for G1, but G2 is a little shorter, probably. And then I've also had different concept art ones for an altered version where the Norristown line merges after Manayunk onto the Kenwood line for Schuylkill Valley Metro, where the Chestnut Hill West line would take Allegheny, and then the Ridge line would continue from Fairmount into College, connect to College Avenue, Strawberry Mansion, and then East Falls and Wissahickon. And then there'd probably be a bus connection between Wissahickon and Manayunk. So along with either some sort of connection between T5 and the airport line. Tell me first off, since we're going to the Navy Yard, if we add the Navy Yard, we might as well push the extra little distance across the river to the airport. That'd be ENF, and most people will be going out BC. Another aspect is PATCO. In this version of Blue Sky, the main line I follow is you go kind of all the way to Penn Medicine, all the way out to Atlantic City, because there is a choke point for the Atlantic City line at Haddonfield. I did add some stops beyond Lindenwold. There's Berlin already exists, Ankara would be new, Winslow Junction I think is new, added Moloka between Hamilton and Carter City, the airport which I think might already be in plans, I don't know. Then the 2 current Walnut Locust are named to Washington Square, and Red House Square certainly meets with one, and the other one's kind of close by or something like that. It's called Washington Square. Red House Square, it's a little far away, and then it was 22nd, 23rd in Locust. Nothing really eye-catching there for me to pick, and then ends at Penn Medicine. My main idea for PATCO and stuff, but I do keep the Atlantic City line in, and it doesn't go beyond. Another version of the original line, which just takes over from 8th Street, and the Atlantic City line branches at Haddonfield. So we have the electrified up to Callow Hill instead of going to 8th Street and Franklin Square. They're already building it, but in this case, I wouldn't have Franklin Square or Camden City Hall anymore. Suburban Callow Hill, Walter Rand, and then continue. Whether or not the DPRA decides to convert the lines out being electrified and run under PATCO, then she could always just run a shuttle between Haddonfield and Pensacola if the people of Cherry Hill still one train service, add more stops on the way. Probably eventually make it almost like a beltway around Camden. So you go from South Camden all the way to Pennsauken without going through. You could swap the Camden line and the Atlantic City line between DRPA and NJT. So they would only be running quote unquote light rail in the south, and then you would have the heavy rail from Trenton north. This is the thing that certain Jersey lines initially inspired me to do this from the beginning. It's like, one idea is that you could continue service all the way down to Cape May along the Glassboro-Camden line. South of Road would be Caddy Street, Clayton, Franklinville, Newfield, Landis Park, south of Island, Millville High Street, Millville 4th Street, Millville Route 55, Port Elizabeth, Dennis, Cape May Courthouse, Whitesboro, Burleigh, Rio Grande, Wildwood, Emra, and terminating right outside the Cape May Lewis Ferry. North of Glassboro, probably stopping in Pittman, Woodbury, and Gloucester City, and probably Cooper. The GC obviously is from, I think I changed it to go Pennsauken to Glassboro Town Center. But the biggest thing was kind of teasing a bit earlier is the Trenton Subway, was like one half like within the same trend going from Ewan Mercer Airport. Actually, that half could probably easily turn into Trenton TC and going from Trenton City Hall, Thomas Jefferson University, Summer Avenue, Hermitage, Caldwell, Hiltonia, and the West Trenton line, Raritan Valley line trains potentially. But then the other half would be the Central Jersey coastline from Trenton, Ashby, Whitehorse, US 206, Klockner Road, Robinsonville, which is right where it meets the NJT Turnpike, follows 195 pretty much, including Old York Road, Upper Freehold, Holmeson, that's where Six Flags is, Diamond Road, Jackson Mills, New Prospect, how I think there's something special that are called GSP, I'm not sure what it is now, Scranton Wall Township, Belmar. In the end, I admit that all the ideas, they really aren't going to happen, so I think I ended up kind of like, feeling a lot of these ideas I had, kind of with a compromise. Stuff that I really like, I think will really will happen. For ado, here is the final blue sky map of the Philly area. One final bonus is cross-county metro. It's a bit different from the original proposal, which would go Downingtown, and from there, this kind of how I talked about last time is that to use a Stony Brook branch from Norristown TC to Lansdale, and then the Doylestown branch to Doylestown, but then we extend it through some former Warminster branch towns. You know, those stations are kind of a lot further away from those towns. These would be closer to downtown. So it goes Buckingham, Lasaka, and then a New Hope. It would transfer at a new bridge. There's a bridge there now, but it would be a new bridge 202, so it can carry the Princeton Dinky. Now, they want to change the Dinky, extend it, maybe mess with BRT or something, but what if we extended into sort of this cross-county metro idea? Add a stop between Princeton Junction and the university called University Square. At the end of campus at Nassau and Bayard, then turns to Cherry Valley, Mount Rose, would cross the Southland branch or the West Trenton branch of the Raritan Valley line at Hopwell, Stony Brook, large gap of countryside to Hunterdon, and then it would follow the 202 through West Amwell and Lambertville before transferring in New Hope. Because there's a bit of space there, and there's a tourist road there, and that takes up most of the portion of the Warminster line north. Like to services, the transfer fee, different operators. But I did show more of the full lines, like Amtrak, that there's also service to Parksburg there and Coatesville. I would like to see the Pennsylvanian moved up there and maybe some work done so they can have Go Express through there. Although I would say it would be probably Reading, Pottstown, Royersford, and King of Prussia on that portion for the Pennsylvanian, and then Norristown, because either from Ivy Ridge going on to the Kinwood line and going into the state from there, or turning near North Philly, North Broad, Glenwood, whatever, and turning in and getting onto the Trenton line, Northeast Corridor, and terminating there. I never really talked about the Roosevelt Boulevard Subway north. The L would extend one stop to Bustleton to meet it. Most of the kind of thing would be nice to get up to Red Lion, at least a phase 1 to connect Erie and the L. That's the most important. Beyond that, the right-of-way is there, but it's kind of feels like Fernrock and Shanty, those are very close to a lot of the northern suburban cities on the Reading side, like Amtrak routes in this vision going north of Lansdale. I decided to call the main station Lansdale Madison Station since it has the cross-county metro, technically just be the Lansdale line now, an Amtrak service to Allentown, Scranton, and Ithaca in New York. Okay, so then I think Allentown wants their own sort of connection to New York, which would actually connect to the Raritan Valley line. So we go Allentown, Bethlehem, Easton. I think they would have East Stroudsburg. Put Highbridge, no, that's where the Raritan Valley line ends. Main Raritan Valley main line at Bound Brook, and that eventually connects not much further away to the Northeast Corridor. But those trains probably would end at Newark. Amtrak will go continue to Penn, kind of replace the Pennsylvania North, even though you miss Trenton. Actually, I did keep the extensions of the Chestnut Hill line there. Those probably won't happen. Next time, I'm talking about the Baltimore DC area based on a few ideas been filling around for a while. So I'm finally going to share those for March. But until then, comment, subscribe, and strike the bell.